Tell us a little bit about your project, The Sentimental Girl.
The Sentimental Girl started in my mind, not consciously, but I was down in Lura, and Hunter Corday, my editor and great friend, was editing Alexandra, which is another feature film I've written. And I stayed at the Carrington and Hydro Majestic hotels in Lura. And I was in one of the colonial rooms of the Carrington Hotel, actually. And I felt sort of a strange energy inhabit me, and I was with my girlfriend at the time, who'd come along, and went downstairs to have breakfast. And it was in this big room, which I sort of thought could have been like a ballroom, but it was like a breakfast bar. Anyway, I was hungry at the time, but then I completely lost my hunger, and I told Gloria said to Gloria, sit down and have breakfast. And I went out and had a chat to the people at reception, and I said, there's something really familiar or bizarre in that room. And they said, oh, well, this is a very famous hotel, and this is where, in that room, that's where the Sentimental Bloke, not the Sentimental Bloke, the Blue Mountains Murder Mystery had been filmed with directors Raymond Longford and Lottie Lyle. In 2012, I took my mother and Gloria, my girlfriend in Sydney, out to Bathurst to see relatives, and I was at the the Bathurst 500 racetrack in the hotel in the middle of that, and I was waiting for them to get ready, and so I went over and picked up a garden magazine, and I opened it up, bang, and right on the page was this woman with long dark hair and brown eyes looking right out at me, and it ended up being Lottie Lyle. And I went, oh my God. So I went to reception and asked them whether I could take the book or buy it, or and so I brought it back to the Gold Coast and started thinking, this lady is so intriguing. Anyway, I started collecting notes on it, and on Raymond Longford and Lottie Lyle. Boxes of notes, boxes, anywhere I could find it. I was sitting there in the dark, and I said, just push the boxes away and write it. It took 2 weekends and 4 hours. So it took 10 hours on Saturday, Sunday, and 4 hours on the following Monday, and it was done. Even down to the last 15 seconds, I knew when I had to put the full stop down. So I registered it. I registered The Sentimental Girl, and it's a love story about the lives of Lottie Lyle and Raymond Longford, and it's a story like no other, and it's got to be made because Lottie Lyle and Raymond Longford started film in Australia. They started the first beginnings of film, and they were geniuses because they had one camera, and in doing what they've done with one camera with a Sentimental Bloke is just incredible, And most of those films, early silent films, were destroyed in a massive fire in Melbourne, and there's a couple of remaining films. So this film is an amazing dedication to two people who loved each other beyond this earth, and who are buried in the same grave on the northern side of Sydney Harbour Bridge. And so a few years went by, and then in the last year or so, I've written another sector dedicating Raymond Longford, which has brought it up to about a 2.5 hour picture. And I've had it read by people in the Australian film industry, and they just absolutely adore it, love it. And so I'm on my way to pooling the funds together to have the film made. Right, it's set in the early 19th century, between like about 1910 and goes right through to Raymond Longford's death in 1958. So you've got the intervening wars and that sort of thing. But Lottie Lyle, she passed away at a very young age from tuberculosis. She died at 35 in 1925, and it's an amazing story, and it is actually told through the eyes of Raymond Longford, who, you know, died at the age of 80. You know, it brings in the first beginnings of Australian television, you know, with some, you know, interviews and that sort of thing. But it's set on the Sydney wharves, but every single location, you know, for the Sentimental Girl actually exists, and it's still there, even to the tiles on the floor of these theatres were the tiles that Raymond Longford and Lottie Lyle walked across, right throughout, you know, when they were stage actors, theatre actors, to film actors, all set in Victoria, you know, New South Wales, a little bit of Queensland, but and the Blue Mountains, Sydney, you know, covers the Charleston era, the wild Charleston era of the 20s, and it's an amazing story, and it's got to. I'm just the messenger. I'm just the messenger, and I've taken it down. I'm sure that I've channeled. I'm absolutely positive. I couldn't have done it that quickly without being channeled and being told exactly what to say. So I can't take all the credit.